What is going on, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a little bit of a different video. As you guys can tell from the title, this is going to be my final mock draft. I did one on stream about a week or so ago, and this is pretty much going to be it. Obviously, the draft is tomorrow. As I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 26th, I believe? 28th, I apologize. This is the 28th of April, and tomorrow is the 29th, which is the NFL draft. So, this is really shot clock cheese for me. This is the first one I've done on YouTube this year. But here we go. Let me know in the comment section what you think of my mock draft. I mean, if you think I'm doing something really outrageous, and, let me know that. And let me know who you would pick in these situations as well. This is just what I think is going to happen, not what I think should happen. So, let's get into it. Obviously, first pick of the draft, we pretty much all know the Jaguars are going to get Trevor Lawrence. It's pretty much a given at this point. I mean, dude, donated so much money to the city of Jacksonville at this point. We already know Trevor Lawrence is all elite. If you know, you know. Alright, so pick number 2, the New York Jets are going to go with Zach Wilson, who's actually my QB1. I know, the Florida State fans hating on Trevor Lawrence. Well, I've explained in the past why I like Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence. But Zach Wilson's probably going to go number 2 because I'm pretty sure the Jaguars are already set on Trevor Lawrence. And if you want to have a big debate with me on the whole Trevor Lawrence versus Zach Wilson thing, we can do so in the comment section. But I just like Zach Wilson's game a little bit more than Trevor Lawrence's. I feel like Lawrence wasn't asked to do as much over the past few years as Wilson has with BYU because Lawrence has had so many weapons at Clemson. But outside of that, we can definitely debate that in the comment section, like I said. Now, the 49ers actually traded up to pick 3, as we all know, and I would imagine they're going to get a quarterback here. At this point, I think it's either between Trey Lance or Mac Jones. I think they should take Trey Lance, but I think they're going to go with Mac Jones here. And I'm not really sold on Mac Jones personally. I think similar to Trevor Lawrence and similar to what people thought about Joe Burrow, some people thought about Joe Burrow, I should say, last year. I think he didn't have to do a whole lot because he had so many good receivers over the past year. Well, not last year because Tua was the quarterback, but this past year, I mean, Mac Jones has just had so many weapons, and Najee Harris, and then, of course, Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle, who were expected to be top, first round, not top 10 picks, but first round picks. So I think the Niners will get Mac Jones. I think they're really done with Jimmy G at this point. And we'll have to see who ends up trading for him, because I don't think Garoppolo, with that contract, is going to stay in San Francisco for very long after the draft. So Mac Jones goes to the Niners. So the Falcons here, they could go quarterback. But it's knowing Arthur Smith and knowing how much he loves his tight ends, I think that they're going to go with Kyle Pitts. I think they're going to pull the plug, or they're going to pull the trigger, I should say, on this pick. I think Kyle Pitts will be a member of the Atlanta Falcons. Hayden Hurst is a decent enough tight end, but I don't think he's a tight end 1 for them at all. So I think they'll go with Kyle Pitts, who could probably be one of the top wide receivers in this draft as well. But I think he's definitely going to be a weapon for the Falcons, and I think Arthur Smith will try to see what he can do with Matt Ryan for one more year, or maybe get a quarterback later on in the draft. So Kyle Pitts is going to go to the Falcons at pick number 4. And now the Bengals at pick number 5. I know Joe Burrow has really been pressing for them to get Jamar Chase, but I think the Bengals need to build the offensive line around Burrow, otherwise he's going to get hurt again. So I think Penei Sewell is the best bet here for the Bengals. Even though they do need a receiver as well, and they could go Jamar Chase, I think they'll go Penei, and I think they'll continue to build the offensive line around Joe Burrow. So Penei Sewell will be going number 5 to the Bengals. Number 6 for the Dolphins, I think they'll get Jamar Chase. Tua Tagovailoa really needs a weapon, and it's not going to be Devontae Parker. Mike Gesicki's pretty good, but they don't really have a top receiver on this team, and I think Jamar Chase, even though he sat out last season, is the best receiver in this draft. So I think the Dolphins will pick him up here. At pick number 7, I think the Lions are going to go with Jalen Waddle here. This is going to be the replacement for Kenny Golladay. Either be Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle. I think a lot of teams are going to be a lot higher on Waddle because I think he was the better receiver over the past few years. And then like his ankle injury obviously is a bit of a concern, but I think the Lions will go with Waddle to get the replacement for Galladay. Next up, the Panthers. They could go quarterback here. Maybe they get Trey Lance or Justin Fields, even though they did trade for Sam Darnold. But because they traded for Sam Darnold, I don't think they'll go quarterback that early at least. They'll probably wait until next year to go first round. And go quarterback first round, I should say. And I think they'll get Rashawn Slater to build that offensive lineup and just see what they can do with Darnold this year. So next up, we got the Broncos. And could they go quarterback here? I think they will. I think they'll go with Trey Lance. I think they're pretty much done with Drew Lock at this point. He really hasn't shown any improvement as a quarterback over the past year, so Trey Lance will be the pick here, although they could go Micah Parsons. I think there's an outside chance that maybe Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain, or J.C. Horn go here, but I think they'll go with Trey Lance. Pick number 10, I think the Cowboys are in desperate need of cornerback help. Trayvon Diggs started off pretty decently, but over the course of the season just wasn't very good. Obviously, they've lost Byron Jones and Chidobe Awuzie over the past few years, so I think they got to replace those guys now and get a corner. They're going to go defense, pick up Patrick Surtain II here. And at pick number 11, I think there could be a chance the Giants go after Devonta Smith here. Obviously, they picked up Kenny Galladay, but they don't really have much at receiver outside of him. I'm not really big on Sterling Shepard, so I think they'll go Micah Parsons here, however, because that linebacking core needs a lot of help. Could Philly end up going receiver here? I mean, Devonta Smith is available, but Philly definitely has a lot of other needs. They could go J.C. Horn, and I think that they're going to go with J.C. Horn here. I think Philly might get cold feet as far as Devonta Smith, and maybe they'll go for a receiver in the second or third round, but I think J.C. Horn is a pick here because Philly's secondary hasn't been great either. Next up, we got the Chargers, and I think that if Rashawn Slater's here, they're definitely going to pull the trigger on him, but I think Christian Darrisaw is the pick here. He's the best offensive lineman at this point in the draft, and they definitely need a lot of help at left tackle to protect Justin Herbert. So it's kind of the same idea with Burrow and the Penei Sewell pick. But Darrisaw will go number 13 to the Chargers. Next up, we got the Vikings on the clock at number 14. I think they'll go Elijah Vera Tucker. I think their interior offensive line is definitely going to need a lot of help as well. Now, number 15, we got the Patriots here. Obviously, they signed Cam Newton to a one-year deal, but I think it's time that they get their quarterback of the future, and I think they'll go with Justin Fields. Now, I'm not really high on Justin Fields. I'm not a big Justin Fields fan, but I think if anybody can get him to be what they want him to be, it's Bill Belichick. So Justin Fields will go pick number 15 here. Number 16, the Arizona Cardinals are definitely going to need help at corner now. Obviously, Patrick Peterson's gone, and their cornerback situation isn't very good. So I think they'll go with Greg Newsome II out of Northwestern at pick number 16, although Jamin Davis isn't a bad pick either. But I think that Newsome's going to go 16. At pick number 17, we got the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think they're going to go with Christian Barmore. Their defensive line isn't very good, especially on the interior, so Barmore is going to be the pick here out of Alabama. At pick number 18, the Dolphins already have their receiver in Jamar Chase, so now they'll address the edge and keep Jalen Phillips in the city of Miami. They'll pick him number 18. So next up, we got the Washington football team. Now, obviously, they've invested a lot at the quarterback position, getting Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they still want to see what they can do with Taylor Heineke this year. So I think they'll actually go with Jamin Davis here at number 19. Linebacker out of Kentucky. They definitely need a lot of help in the linebacking core, so they'll get the best linebacker available. At number 20, we got the Chicago Bears, and honestly, the Bears are in kind of a pickle right now, obviously having Andy Dalton at quarterback, and they could potentially be losing Allen Robinson next year, so they could be in play for Devonta Smith here, but I think they'll address the offensive line need here and get Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama. At pick number 21, the Colts could also use some help on the offensive line, but they could use help at corner as well. And Caleb Farley's right there. They could use a receiver. Maybe they go Devonta Smith. but I'm actually going to go give them Tevin Jenkins to bolster the offensive line and protect Carson Wentz. Obviously, he didn't get a lot of protection in Philly, and the Colts will definitely want to protect him with how much they invested in him. So Tevin Jenkins will be the pick here. And now, my favorite team in the NFL, the Tennessee Titans at number 22. If Devonta Smith's here at number 22, I think they got to pull the trigger. I love Elijah Moore, but if Devonta Smith's at 22, they got to take him. And no, I didn't mock this to have Devonta Smith slip all the way down just so he goes to the Titans, but it just worked out that way. I think Devonta Smith will go 22 if he's there. So the Titans will go for Devonta Smith over Elijah Moore. So now the Jets are on the clock at number 23, and I think they definitely need a lot of help on the edge and at corner, but I think they'll go Kwity Paye instead of Caleb Farley here, although Farley will definitely be in play. At pick number 24, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think the Steelers will actually go for Farley here. I think they definitely need help at corner, and I think they'll pick him up at 24. Take a shot. I mean, they could go elsewhere. They could go Eric Stokes as well, but Farley, I think, is just way too talented to let him slip past 24. So now the Jaguars are at pick number 25, and I think that they're going to go with Elijah Moore here. They definitely need help at the receiver position, and they could definitely use him as Lawrence's first big weapon. But I think the Jaguars want to get him more weapons than just Chark and just like a few other guys that they have there. So Elijah Moore is going to be the pick here. At pick number 26, we have the Cleveland Browns, and I know they picked up Jadeveon Clowney, but he wasn't very reliable last year in Tennessee, so I think that they'll try to get another edge rusher here, and Azeez Ojulari is the best player available at this spot, so he'll be a Cleveland Brown. At pick 27, Baltimore could definitely use help on the edge with Matt Judon gone, so I think they'll go with Joe Tryon at Washington. So now we got the New Orleans Saints at pick number 28, and I think they need a legitimate number 2 wide receiver across from Michael Thomas. And Rashad Bateman seems like he'd be the best option here at number 28, so I got him going to the Saints here. At pick number 29, I think Aaron Rodgers just needs another big play receiver, and I think Kadarius Toney could be a sleeper in the first round, so I think they'll go receiver here to get Kadarius Toney. At pick number 30, I think the only thing missing from Buffalo's offense is a running back, and you got a couple of options here. You could go Najee Harris, you could go Travis Etienne. I think that they're going to go with Najee Harris, though. He's very reminiscent of most Alabama running backs like Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, where he's like a lot of power. And I think that he could definitely be a huge asset for the Bills offense. So Najee Harris will be the pick at number 30. At pick number 31, I think the Ravens will get Trevon Moehrig out of TCU. They definitely need help at the safety position. So I think this will be the pick right here. And yeah, they could potentially go Jeremiah Owusu here, but I don't think they'll get him. I think he'll fall to the early second round. Even though I've heard a lot of good things about him, I think he falls early second round just with the way the draft goes here. And last but not least, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, I wouldn't say they have a ton of needs coming off of their Super Bowl victory because they pretty much brought everybody back. But they could use another pass rusher here, and I think they'll go Jason Owe out of Penn State. So, got a few notable names who are still available at the end of the first round. You got Zaven Collins, Jeremiah Owusu, Travis Etienne, Eric Stokes, just to name a few. And I could be wrong about this, but this is just the way I think the draft will go. So as we scroll down, just reviewing the picks here, let me know in the comment section what you think of this mock draft, what you would have changed. Do you think I was doing a little bit too much pandering having the Titans get Devonta Smith at 22nd? Let me know. We'll look back on this after Thursday, and I expect to be wrong on most of these, but this is just what I think will happen. Let me know what you think will happen, and if you enjoyed this mock draft and you want to see more content from this channel, then make sure you hit that like button, hit the sub button if you're new, and turn your notifications on to join the notification gang. That way, every time I upload a video, you guys will be notified, and we're going to keep it rolling here on Kaz Great Gaming. If you want to see more from the channel, check out the playlist in front of you.